Good morning, all of you. Welcome to Crack Grade B Current Affairs classes. Can someone tell me whether my voice is clear? And is this screen clearly visible to all of you? Okay. Check. So let's start with the current affairs of 20th and 21st. No major news is there. Okay. Somewhat little bit dynamic news related to various type of data. Okay. So at least from the look of what we will be discussing today, you'll be getting an idea that what type of data is important, and utilizing such data in various descriptive as well as objective, how you can do that. Okay. So apart from the news, we will also see how we can utilize information that are present in the current affairs in our descriptive answers also. So the first news is about Russia stays biggest seller of crude oil to India in the month of November 2023. Okay. So the news talks about that how much India is buying oil from Russia, and there are various reasons, because as you know, the Russian crude oil is a little bit cheaper, and because of various Russia-Ukraine conflict. And at this particular point of time, when India is thinking that Russian oil is providing us cost effective price compared to other sellers, for example Republic of Saudi Arabia, UAE, and others. Okay. So as you can see that this is November news, only month specific news, and how much dynamic this news is about. So you can be a little bit wary of the data, but just remember that Russia is now accounting for about 30% of total oil import bill. And apart from these things, you also need to understand what are the top 5 sellers of crude oil to India. So apart from Russia, what do you think? What are different sellers? So first you can assume Russia is there. Who else? What do you think? What are various other countries that export oil to India, or at least India, import oil from them? Is correct. UAE. What else? Anybody? Which other countries do you think are there? USA, Iran also, yes, correct. Then we have the Republic of Saudi Arabia and Iraq also. Yeah? So based on the latest data, if you find based on January 29, that is today, these are the top 5 countries that exports oil to India. Okay, where Russia comprising of close to 30% of the oil imports from the outside world. Okay, so just have a broad idea that which countries are in the top, so that whenever you are talking about reducing import bill or reducing anything related to balance of payments or India's foreign exchange reserves, you always have these many countries to write as an example in your descriptive answers. ठीक है, तो हमेशा top 5 countries को दिमाग में रखना. It will be beneficial for you. Let's move on to the next news. So this is a data of job creation released by Bank of Baroda for financial year 23. Okay. So this Bank of Baroda report with respect to job creation talks about that which sector particularly created the jobs the most. ठीक है, if we overall see primary, manufacturing and services, and then subsectors also. So the report says service sector accounted for the most number of jobs created in the financial year 23. Okay, but when you go further down within the services sector, you will see that IT sector created more jobs compared to other subsectors in the service sector. So what are the news here? You can see service sector companies in the IT, banking and finance comprise nearly half of the new jobs created in financial year 23. So you can imagine other sectors such as manufacturing, infrastructure, consumption saw moderate job creation. Okay? So these are the order with respect to job creation if you go specific sector wise. So what do you think? How can you utilize this data or this report in your descriptive answers? Which topic is it related to if you see in ESI? All of you, where can you utilize this data? Yes, you can utilize this data in unemployment. You can also utilize this data in telling about the dichotomy or, comparing the various sectors, that how services sector is still the most primary sector in terms of job creation compared to other two sectors. So you can also tell about, how we need to focus on manufacturing sector a lot more, because manufacturing sector is more labor intensive compared to services. Right? So you can use for cross sector references and also data for employment generation too. Let's move on to the next. CDSL, Central Depository Services India Limited, launches multilingual support for users. So what is CDSL? It is the country's only listed depository. Okay? There are various depositories present in the country, but it is the only listed. That means it is listed on the National Stock Exchange. That means shares of these depositories you can buy and sell. So what CDSL has done? It has launched a multilingual support. That means, various languages, offering their services in various languages via chatbots, so that it can reach a larger number of audience. Okay? And if you see the data with respect to demat accounts being held with the country's largest depository, that means CDSL, it is close to 101 million demat accounts. Okay? So this is a broad news, but let's understand what exactly CDSL is. Or CDSL to chalo ek hai, but what exactly is a depository and how it plays a critical role in the stock market, whole segment. So first of all, if you see the definition part, okay, that what depository is, it's an organization that holds, your stocks in an electronic or demat format with itself. ठीक है? तो बेसिकली है क्या, जितने भी आप स्टॉक्स खरीदते हैं, है ना, प्रीवियसली व्हाट यूज्ड टू हैपन, जब 1990s या 1980s के टाइम पे अगर आपको रिलायंस का स्टॉक परचेज करना है, ठीक है, आप परचेज करते थे तो आपको एक स्टॉक का सर्टिफिकेट मिलता था ऑन पेपर दैट दिस पर्सन, वट एवर योर नेम इज, दिस पर्सन इज होल्डिंग दीज मेनी शेयर्स ऑफ सम कंपनी. ठीक है, दिस इज अ पेपर, एंड समटाइम्स इट यूजुअली हैपेंस दैट दिस पेपर either get stolen, either get tear down, and there can be various risks associated with holding your shares in this format. And even if you want to share, sell these shares, you have to just give back the paper to someone. Okay? So you can see how cumbersome the holding, safekeeping of such type of shares is. Then only it was identified that we need to have an organization that can keep these shares first of all in electronic format, or what you can say dematerialized format. Okay? And also safe keeps it. That means I don't need to, an individual, an investor need not to focus too much on, okay, I need to buy these shares, then I need to send these shares to the stock exchange, and then I get some other shares. Okay? I should not bear that responsibility. If I place an order in my brokerage account, okay, this CDSL, this organization should do the transfer of stocks and transfer of money into my brokerage account. ठीक है? तो basically simple. आप इसका अगर analogy आप देखोगे, so think it like a bank. और बैंक में if it is providing you safekeeping as well as transfer services. If you want to keep cash with yourself, then it's fine. But keeping cash comes with its own risk. है ना? You cannot keep a large amount of cash with yourself and cannot travel with large amount of cash. If you want to transfer your cash to some other person located in somewhere, that is a lot more difficult because you have to go over there then transfer cash. But what if there is an organization that first of all allows you to safe keeps your money into electronic format. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्मेट में तो है, एक बैंक अकाउंट में दिख रहा है कि इतना है, ठीक है, एंड इट ऑल्सो अलाउज यू टू ट्रांसफर योर मनी बैक एंड फोर्थ और अलाउज यू टू टेक मनी फ्रॉम समवन एल्स. सो डिपॉजिटरी इज ऑलमोस्ट ऑफ द सिमिलर नेचर इफ यू गो टू द स्टॉक मार्केट. ठीक है, अब स्टॉक मार्केट में लेट्स से दिस इज योर जीरोधा अकाउंट, ठीक है, and this is your portfolio. In your portfolio, this is the whole sum that you have invested, and these are the stocks, for example HDFC, Reliance, ITC. You have 3 stocks, 4 stocks, 10 stocks, okay? And so this portfolio is just showing that these are the stocks that you have. But what do you think, which organization hold all of these stocks? So CDSL is keeping these 3 HDFC stock by your name. So, let's say if I have, so Mayank is having 3 HDFC stock, 4 Reliance stock and 10 ITC stocks. So if Mayank places a, buy order for 2 more HDFC stocks. ठीक है? So whenever this HDFC stock after T+1 settlement cycle, whenever they will be added to my depository, it will be added +2, then it will also show here. And if I want to sell my all Reliance shares, so I will place a sell order. ठीक है? So this CDSL will be responsible for removing, all 4 shares from my depository, from my account, and then providing it to whoever buys it or the market buys it. Another aspect that this depository provides you, for example, so let's take an example that HDFC stock has provided a dividend of 10 rupees per share. ठीक है, तो who do you think will be transferring this money 10 into, let's say I have 550 rupees directly into my bank account? CDSL is holding my 5 HDFC stock. Okay, so Reliance will give an order to CDSL, okay, and then CDSL will transfer this to my bank account. Dividend payments also. So this is what the depository is all about. Okay? Any confusion to anyone? आ गया सबको समझ में? So this Zerodha is like a broker. ठीक है, आप अगर ऑर्डर प्लेस करोगे, ऑल दोज ऑर्डर्स आर गेटिंग प्लेस्ड ऑन नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज और बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. ठीक है, तो दिस Zerodha हेल्प्स यू, ठीक है, इन पुटिंग ऑर्डर्स इनटू दीज एक्सचेंजेस. एक मार्केट प्लेस में जाके ही आप ऑर्डर प्लेस करोगे ना. ठीक है, चलो. So this is what the news is all about, that CDSL has launched multilingual support for users. तो जितना भी services that CDSL is offering you, all will be provided into multiple languages. Let's move on to the next news. Total corpus under pension fund crosses 11 lakh crore. ठीक है, so it's nothing but whatever amount that the government or the PFRDA has received by including NPS funds as well as Atal Pension Yojana funds. If you calculate both of them, it is coming out of 11 lakh crores. ठीक है, so this is what the PFRDA chairman is telling. So just remember, you just have a brief idea of what the amount is. ठीक है, अब आपको पता लग गया कि 11 लाख करोड़ के आसपास टोटल पेंशन फंड्स हैं being distributed between NPS and Atal Pension Yojana. ठीक है, so just remember this, because apart from whatever static information with respect to these two schemes can come, okay, so such type of current affairs content can also come. What do you think, how much amount of asset under management has crossed if you combine NPS and Atal Pension Yojana? So at least have a broad idea that it has already crossed in January 11 lakh crore. ठीक है, तो it will be somewhere near 11.5 or 12. तो at least आपको idea रहेगा, है ना? इसलिए have these basic understanding. And as you can see, the authority in September revised the asset under management target of 12 lakh crore for the current fiscal. That means in fiscal year 23-24, total what they want is 12 lakh crores. ठीक है, so this is the thing that you need to remember because it's a target. और जब भी financial year खत्म हो जाएगा, we'll be able to again revise the same thing, that how much it has collected in terms of NPS as well as Atal Pension Yojana. Next, equity cash trade hit a new high in 2023 on FOMO syndrome. So if you have studied this news, in this news it is basically talking about that right now Nifty is almost 21,000. So it is a higher range. If you see the 52 week, that means the past 1 or 1.5 year performance, है ना? So even despite Nifty being at the higher stages, there is continuous increase in flow of capital in stock buying. And the news says that it is mostly probably due to FOMO syndrome, that everybody is thinking that this bull market is currently going on and they will be left behind if they do not buy at this bull market. So they are still buying at the higher valuation. And what do you mean by higher valuation? ठीक है, अब उस स्टॉक की वैल्यू, इनहेरेंट वैल्यू, इफ यू लुक एट इट्स ग्रोथ प्रोस्पेक्ट्स, इट लेट्स से 40 rupees है, but right now the stock is trading at 70 rupees. Okay, then you will say that it is highly valued without the base or without the earnings potential. So despite higher prices, retail investors are continuously buying these stocks. So that's what the news is telling you about. And it is not only retail investors, it is also FIIs, foreign institutional investors, or what you call foreign portfolio investors. They are also pumping money into India, buying the Indian story that Indian markets or Indian, economy will continue to flourish. And there is also another, which is not present in this news, another aspect that why investments are coming into India, because if you closely look, and even recently if you look, that China's 10-year bond yields are historically low. What does this tell you? Okay? Bond yields, if you are focusing upon 10-year, that means you're focusing upon long-term projection of Chinese economy. If long-term projection of Chinese economy is yearly low, that means investors are really thinking that, after, in close to 10 years, there will be no real investments in China. Okay? Or there will be no more growth. So this is also another factor that investors are looking for, another alternative market where they can generate more profits. Okay? So this is what the news was. Now let's move on to national news, and let's be a little bit faster. So in the first, Supreme Court designated 11 women senior advocates. Okay, so recently Chief Justice of India has designated 11 women advocates as senior advocates. Okay, nothing more specific. Next, Andhra Pradesh becomes the second state to take up caste census. Which was the first state that took up caste census? All of you? मैं यूपी में नहीं हुआ. Yes, Bihar. ठीक है. So after Bihar, we have Andhra Pradesh as the state taking up caste census, and this is very important for those of you who are preparing for regulatory body examination, because I hope everybody noticed that social justice is one of the important topic in your syllabus. ठीक है. The social justice caste system is an important component. Such type of news then inevitably becomes important. ठीक है. The examiner can always ask which of the states have discussed the caste census or something like that. ठीक है. Next, Prime Minister Modi opens Boeing state-of-the-art facility in Bengaluru. ठीक है. So it's poised to be the second largest state-of-the-art facility being opened in Bengaluru. ठीक है. Boeing, as all of you know, is the aircraft manufacturer, है ना? And this campus is set up on a 43 acres with an investment of 1600 crores. So it is major largest investment outside the US by Boeing. Okay, and in this state-of-the-art facility, there will be various things that will be done over here. For example, research and development. Okay, and also manufacturing of some parts of the Boeing aircraft, even maintenance also. Maintenance, as all of you know, it's maintenance. Maintenance plants are always, as in the past some of days, we've also discussed that Boeing has also launched one maintenance plant in UP. Okay? But this is another state-of-the-art facility. It's like a manufacturing plant having research and development facilities also. Okay? And within this, Prime Minister launched Boeing Sukanya program. That means through this program, the Prime Minister wants the women to be skilled in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics field, so that they can come more into such type of facility. And women employment, especially in Boeing, aircraft or aviation sector, increases. So this is what the news is. Next, India sets up Alliance for Global Good, Gender Equity and Equality. So basically, these two are different global goods. ठीक है, global goods, what do you mean? That such type of values that are globally considered to be good. ठीक है, for example, gender equality, gender equity as well as equality. ठीक है, so India has announced a new alliance for these two things at an India reception on the WEF meeting. ठीक है, so what is important for us to remember is, like, see, first of all, it is World Economic Forum, then anyways this news becomes inevitably important. ठीक है, so first of all, CII Center for Women Leadership is the agency responsible for this alliance. So World Economic Forum has become its network partner and Invest India is its institutional partner. ठीक है, so these partners, please remember. ठीक है, and this year's World Economic Forum theme that happened in Davos is rebuilding trust. Executive chairman and founder of World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab. ठीक है, and right now the current president is Borge Brende. So such type of static also you need to cram here. Next, a news related to FCRA registration, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. This is usually provided to NGOs for, taking or getting funds from outside India. Okay, without this license or without this registration, you will not be able to, get funds from outside the country, because these regulations are usually put to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India. So this World Vision India, it's an NGO for children issues. Okay, it's a US based NGO. So recently, apart from World Vision, there was also one organization that lost its Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. What do you think? What do you think was the organization that also lost FCRA registration, which we saw previously? Does anyone have any idea? This we discussed. Research organization tha, yes. What was the name? The name was Center for Policy Research. ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें याद करके रखो. See, why I'm telling you this? When you try to do current affairs daily, तो आपको broad themes पता लग जाएंगे जिनके बारे में news repeat हो रही है with just different name this side. Most of the themes, for example, dynamic data related to economy, stock market news is continuously coming again and again. So by utilizing or by learning themes, at least we are much more capable of remembering a lot more information. Okay? So let's move on to the next news. So Union Ayush Minister, Ayurveda, lays foundation stone for groundbreaking Ayush Diksha Center in Bhubaneswar. So this Ayush Diksha Center will be providing, education for future Ayush professionals. Okay? So these Ayush professionals will be trained at Ayush Diksha Center. So it's like a medical college for Ayush professionals. Okay? And this is located in Bhubaneswar. Next, US Congress passes stopgap bill to avert government shutdown. So what does the news say? The US House of Representatives approved a stopgap bill to fund the federal government through early March and avert a partial government shutdown. Okay? Now, what is a stopgap bill and what's the need and why is it crucial for, stopping government from shutting down? So as all of you know, in a democracy, what happens? Okay? Does executive get money on its own? Can you tell me? How does executive get money in a democracy wherever there is a parliament or congress? एग्जीक्यूटिव को पैसा कौन देता है या पैसा अप्रूव कौन करता है? यस, बिल. बेसिकली आप कह सकते हो कि विदाउट पार्लियामेंट्स अप्रूवल, है ना, विदाउट पार्लियामेंट्स अप्रूवल एग्जीक्यूटिव कैन नॉट गेट मनी और एग्जीक्यूटिव कैन नॉट यूज दैट मनी. ठीक है. सो सिमिलरली in US also, without Congress permission, through appropriation bill, the executive cannot get money for functioning. ठीक है. Or without money, the government cannot do anything. So think about if Republicans in US, if they form a majority and they stopped appropriation bill, that means the US government right now or the US president will not be having money to run the government. Okay? So what will happen? So the government will not be able to do a lot of services, for example education, social services and various services. Okay? If such type of appropriation bill is stopped by the Republicans or by the Congress. Okay? So that was actually stopped by the US Congress, but there is a different type of bill which overrules this decision. This is known as stopgap bill. Okay? So it temporarily provides funds to the federal government so that they can function. तो बस यही है स्टॉप गैप बिल. इससे ज़्यादा आपको ज़रूरत भी नहीं है. इनकेस अगर आए तो एटलीस्ट यू हैव एन आइडिया दैट व्हाट द स्टॉप गैप बिल इज ऑल अबाउट एंड व्हाट्स द पर्पस इट इज सर्विंग. ठीक है. लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट न्यूज. सो द जर्मनी ईजेस रूल फॉर फॉरेनर्स सीकिंग सिटीजनशिप. तो अब जर्मनी जिसको जाना है उनके लिए और जिसको जाके सिटीजनशिप लेनी है उनके लिए आसान हो गया. ठीक है. आप सिटीजनशिप के लिए 5 साल में एलिजिबल हो जाओगे और इन स्पेशल केसेस और इन केस ऑफ स्पेशल इंटीग्रेशन अकम्प्लिशमेंट्स आप 3 साल में भी एलिजिबल हो जाओगे. ठीक है. सो गुड न्यूज फॉर दोज हु वांट टू गो टू जर्मनी एंड गेट अ सिटीजनशिप ओवर देयर. नेक्स्ट, नॉर्थ कोरिया टेस्ट्स अंडर वाटर न्यूक्लियर वेपन सिस्टम, द नेम बीइंग हाइल 523 सिस्टम्स. नॉर्थ कोरिया बोल रहा है कि आप यूएस को बुला के एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर के थ्रू यहाँ पे ड्रिल कर रहे हो तो हम भी करके बताएंगे. सो नॉर्थ कोरिया ने अंडर वाटर न्यूक्लियर वेपन सिस्टम कर दिया. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, ईरान लॉन्चेस सैटेलाइट एज रीजनल टेंशन स्पाइक. ठीक है. सो इट्स नथिंग, इट्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ स्पेस न्यूज. तो ईरान्स इस्लामिक रेवोल्यूशनरी गार्ड कॉर्प्स, ओके, दे लॉन्च्ड the satellite named Suraya satellite on the carrier Gaim 100 satellite carrier. और इनकी सैटेलाइट 500 किलोमीटर अबव, मोर देन 500 किलोमीटर अबव अर्थ की ऑर्बिट पर जाके प्लेस कर दिया. That's it the news. ठीक है. And it is the first satellite that is placed at that much higher. Next, 19th Non-Alignment Movement Summit in Kampala, Uganda. ठीक है. तो in 19th summit, the theme being deepening cooperation for shared global affluence. ठीक है. And the current president being Uganda until 2027. Okay, and 19th summit adopted Kampala Declaration, which talked about various things. For example, it slams Israeli military aggression and called for the implementation of UNSC resolution to allow humanitarian support to Gaza Strip. And what was India's position? India adopted a neutral position. It led so our foreign minister led the Indian delegation. He called for a sustainable solution to the Gaza crisis, and he calls for immediate relief in the humanitarian crisis and urged prevention of conflict spreading into West Asian region. Okay? So as you can see, this 19th NAM summit, which adopted Kampala Declaration, mostly focused upon the Israel-Hamas conflict and the consequent aggression. So they slammed Israel aggression, and they also called for United States Security, United Nations Security Council's resolution to provide humanitarian relief to that region. Okay? And India, apart from these, India did not call out Israeli military aggression. Okay? India only focused upon providing humanitarian aid to that region, and also India focused upon that this conflict should not spread to the West Asia. Okay, so this non-alignment movement, this was established amidst the Cold War. So these were the countries that did not want to join any camp, either USSR or USA. So they wanted to be policy neutral with respect to their sovereignty. Okay, so these countries joined together in 1961 in order to form this non-alignment movement. But it is usually said that after 1990, when the Cold War ended and the USSR, disintegrated, the NAM lost its relevance. But India says that it continues to stay relevant, but now the terminology has changed. It has become from non-alignment to strategic autonomy. Okay? But the most important thing for you to remember is theme याद कर लेना, कौन सा summit है उसको याद कर लेना, which is the precedent and what is the name of declaration. Next, Apollo Cancer Center in Bengaluru launched India's first AI Precision Oncology Center. ठीक है? So basically cancer treatment में जितना भी operations होते हैं, for example, diagnosis, treatment, recovery, rehabilitation. ठीक है? In all those operations, AI is being utilized for providing various services. For example, accurate diagnosis, real-time insights, cancer risk assessment. So the Apollo Care Center in Bangalore is the first one to launch AI Precision Oncology Center. Next, Japan's spacecraft lands on moon, a first for the country and fifth for the whole world. So it's the world's fifth country to put a spacecraft on the moon. Okay, and the name of the spacecraft is, or the lander is, Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, SLIM. Okay, it usually happens then whenever a question that comes related to such type of lander, हम लोग सोचते हैं ऑप्शन में थोड़ा जापानीज सा नाम होगा तो we'll be able to recognize it. But as you can see, it's SLIM is the name. तो please remember, और इसका क्वेश्चन आएगा ही आएगा. ठीक है, it's a very big achievement, world's fifth and similar to Chandrayaan 3. ठीक है, and which countries are there apart from India and Japan that have landed on the moon in terms of placed their lander on the moon? Yes, China, US, Russia. Okay, so China, US, Russia, India, Japan. These are the 5 countries that have placed their lander on the moon. Next, NASA spacecraft pings Chandrayaan 3 lander on the moon. Okay, so what is happening here? So NASA's orbiter, it keeps on sending signals, and Chandrayaan 3 lander, our Vikram lander, also reflected back the signal, making sure of its presence on the surface of the moon. So NASA is saying that by, this is a success with respect to that in the future also such type of lander or any other, objects that are on the moon, we will be able to recognize through this LRO, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Okay? Next, World Health Organization issues guidance on healthcare AI ethics. So as all of you know that AI is being utilized in various case scenarios, okay, as evident in the above news that Apollo Center utilized India's first AI oncology center. Okay, the World Health Organization is saying that it's good that you are utilizing AI, but have some principles in your mind. So it provided 5 key applications of large multimodal AI models in healthcare. For example, diagnosis, clinical care, patient guided use, administrative task and medical education and scientific research. But उन्होंने कहा कि रिस्क भी है, उनको भी ध्यान रखना, such as generation of false or biased statements and issues related to data quality and bias are noted. तो आप जो आपके language models हैं उनको continue to train so that they can provide accurate information. Next, Indian Army launches Operation Sarva Shakti to eliminate terrorists in the Rajouri-Poonch sector in Jammu and Kashmir. Next, Airbus, another aircraft manufacturer. Can you tell me which country Airbus belongs to? Yes, correct. France. Okay, it's a French company, French aircraft company. Airbus and CSIR Indian Institute of Petroleum, they have joined hands for development of sustainable aviation fuel. Next, Hyundai acquires General Motors Talegaon plant in Maharashtra. So as all of you know that General Motors left India close to 2017-18, I guess, but their plant was still here. So Hyundai acquired General Motors Talegaon plant, and it, said that it will invest 6,000 crores in the Maharashtra state with respect to manufacturing. Next, PepsiCo India appoints Jagrut Kotecha as the new CEO of Indian operations. So the previously Ahmed El Sheikh was the president or the CEO. He has went to take CEO of Middle East business. Steel Ministry suspends 2 SAIL and 1 NMDC directors on Lokpal directions on the complaint of corruption. Okay, so these are VS Chakravarti, Director Commercial SAIL, AK Tulsiani, Director Finance SAIL. Tata retains IPL sponsorship rights for 2,500 crores for 24 to 28 season. Okay? So Tata, you will be continue to see or continue to hear until 2028 Tata IPL, not Vivo IPL. Okay? Tata IPL chalega until 28. So Khelo India Youth Games for the first time in South is happening at Chennai. Okay? So it's the 6th edition of Khelo India Games, and it's a first for South India as well as for Tamil Nadu when it comes to Khelo India Youth Games, first envisaged. Okay? So just remember 6th edition happening in Tamil Nadu and for the first time in South India. So for the first time, a woman is named as a mascot for multidiscipline games. Okay? Tamil Nadu is the first state to showcase its rich traditional history by putting fighter Rani Velu Nachiyar as the mascot. Okay, usually mascots are some animal figures, but this time Tamil Nadu utilized Rani Velu Nachiyar, also known as Veera Mangai. She was the first, woman fighter in India to fight against the British in 1700s. Okay. And squash also is making debut into Khelo India Games. And last news, wrestler Ravi Kumar Dahiya claims bronze at France Grand Prix. So this is all for today. If anything else you want to ask, please ask. Otherwise, we will end up this session. PIB and current affairs are more than enough. हाँ पप्पू क्या हुआ? Total corpus of fund meaning? What's your question? I didn't understand. So when you're talking about total corpus of funds, okay, it's just telling you about the total amount received or total funds received under NPS and APY. Okay, in NPS there are a lot of subscribers. They are putting their money into NPS. Okay, and when you calculate all of this money, this is what you call total corpus or total asset under management. Okay, including APY funds also. तो ये तो हो गया total corpus of funds. See, हाँ मिलते हैं ESI class में. And what is bond yield? The bond yield, think it like a returns that you will be making on bonds. ठीक है, तो आप बताओ bonds में क्या क्या return होते हैं? What is a bond? A bond says that government, let's say if it's a government bond, the government will not only pay you the principal but also the yearly interest. ठीक है, तो ये आपका रिटर्न्स क्या बनेंगे? दैट मीन्स बॉन्ड यील्ड विल बी नॉट ओनली द प्रिंसिपल बट ऑल्सो द इंटरेस्ट. ठीक है, अब प्रिंसिपल तो सेम रहता है ना, बट इंटरेस्ट दैट यू विल बी गेटिंग दैट विल बी चेंज. So for example, let's say if the bond price is 1000 rupees and usually what happens is these bonds are sold at discount. For example 900 rupees में sell किया इसको. ठीक है, तो the government says that you will be receiving 1000 rupees in the end, and this 100 rupees becomes your interest. ठीक है, तो अभी ये बॉन्ड यील्ड हो गया. अब जैसे जैसे बॉन्ड का डिमांड बढ़ेगा, एज यू कैन सी दिस प्राइस विल इंक्रीज. दिस प्राइस लेट्स से इंक्रीज टू 950. देन व्हाट विल हैपन? to the bond yield, which was previously now, and now it has been reduced to this much. So what you're gonna say? How is bond yield reduced or increased? It has been reduced. So as you can see, bond yields have an inverse relationship with price, bond price. तो इसको याद रख लेना बस whenever a question that comes on bond yield and bond price comes. ठीक है? Bond yield. Matthew, you're correct. When bond yields are low in China, that means bonds are high in demand. That means, but you have to make sure you understand that what type of bond yields are low. So you saw 10-year bond yield at historically low. That means the demand for 10-year is higher as compared to short term. ठीक है? Nobody is buying bond of short term, but everybody is buying 10-year bond yields because everybody is thinking in the near, short to medium term there is no returns that will be expected in China. Is this clear? Chalo. Thank you guys for joining. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, keep revising.